good. Really funny.
Such a character.
So, you want me to do something for you?
Yeah, I'll make a little announcement to pass them around. I left this one just because it's got the extra, so it gets confusing.
Not that one.
Yeah.
So when you give the announcement, I'll go around?
Yeah, I'll get, yeah.
Or you do whatever you think.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah. You can use me for whatever. And then the songbook's neat, not done.
I might mention it.
John Smiley to bring Christmas cheer. Well,
You'll
makes
be
us
great.
laugh anyway, doesn't it? It's great. So that's brilliant. Thanks again, John Smiley. Okay, our next guest. Absolutely delighted to welcome back Marieke. So Marieke is a great performer, but also I've got to say she's been a fantastic supporter for this club. Really appreciate it. If anyone watches our Facebook or anything, she's there. She's fantastic. So we do appreciate that. One of the things she specialises in is called guiding story to song, which I think is a lovely idea. So be very careful what you say to her tonight, because you might find she makes it into a song. But, you know, maybe it's what you want. If you've got a good story, I'm sure she'd be interested to hear. She also has threatened to bring a bag of percussion. She didn't though, she forgot.
The threat is real.
It is there.
Yes, you can.
My
friend Sarah has it.
So I think I should hand it out now, I would suggest. Because now this is for people who
They can say no.
can sing or can't sing. Even if you can't sing, you can shake something around. Really, don't be frightened. It's fine. It's not too difficult. So thank you, Sarah, for handing that round. Right. So there's no excuse for not joining in other words. And I don't know if you get any chance to sing as well. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, can I have a big hand for Marieke Slovin?
I feel so loved. My goodness, thanks. Yeah, so really, it's such an honor to be here and to be invited back. And I did mention that, I don't know if I threatened. I don't think I'm very intimidating. But like in one of my past lives, I was a park ranger where I wore the uniform, and children sometimes did cry. But I mean, that hat is intense, So something that I do is that I do write songs with people from their stories, and I've lived all over, and everyone does have a story. And I guarantee that if you started telling me about your day, like this is how I brush my teeth, this is like drinking my coffee, that a song would come out of it, and it would be fun. Even if it was just fun for us, it would still be a cool song. And something that I've been doing since I moved to Brussels a couple of years ago is that I've been visiting a refugee center on Monday afternoons. And so the person who's handing out these fantastic instruments, which you can say no to, and if you do say no, it's okay because you still have rhythm instruments. They're a part of it. We're all musicians. And so Sarah she's originally from Scotland, and she's been here in Belgium for a long time. And she's a poet and a writer and an all-around wonderful human being. Yes, I'm talking about you. And so we've been volunteering together for a couple of years at the refugee center. We meet on Mondays and we hang up like a big piece of paper, and we have markers, and we stand outside, and people come and they can write words or phrases. Sarah often will bring a poem from some of the different countries that the refugees have traveled a long ways to get to Belgium from, and so to inspire the song. And so I wanted to sing one of these songs for you this evening, maybe two. And the first one that I wrote with Sarah and with some of the residents at the center, I think is a good one for this time of year because it's all about not giving up hope and living in the present, which the Buddhists will say is really all that we can do, right? I'm also a yoga teacher, but we won't do an Om to get started. And this one's really fun because It's mostly in English. There's one line of Dari at the end. Zindagi Shan's Dawam Dara. And I'll kind of like introduce it when we get there in case you're like, there's no way I'm going to remember that. But it's one that I also need help with. So, in the spirit of the folk music tradition, and because I get nervous when I stand up here by myself, I've elicited assistance from all of you. Maybe you can give like a little shake if you have a shake. Or see, I recently got like little like spoon clapping things because I thought, we've got all this shaking action, but we need like a little bit more. So in the beginning of this song, it actually starts with the chorus, and I think the chorus is pretty simple. There's no like grandfathers. I am wearing red. I guess, I'm ready to become an older version of myself. But I am kind of an old spirit anyway. So I'm going to start the song with the chorus because, that is actually how it starts, so it's convenient. And I'm going to start by just like, kind of like very gentle strum to give you time to warm up your instruments and to like get kind of dramatic. And we're in the chorus, so without further ado, this song is called Never Give Up, in brackets, life is here and now. In life, there are second chances. It will speed up, I promise. You can start again. There, you got it. Never give up. But feel free to like echo never give up. Like you mean it, Never give up.
Never give up.
Yes, I feel better already. Life is here and now. And just like go crazy with your instruments. There are second chances. You can start again. Yeah, never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah, never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. If I had like a bassist or something, they do a solo, but I don't have one. But I have you, and it's great. Some people live in the past. They don't want to live today. They think too much. They are alone. They don't know. Remember, life is here and now. Yes, there are second chances. You can start again. Never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah, just keep it. Never give up.
Never give
That's
up.
better. Because life is here and now. You never know how long you will live. So be kind to everyone. Believe in your dreams. Believe in your dreams. And you will see life is here and now. There are second chances. You can start again. Never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. Never give up. Life is here and now. And then there's that last line that goes Zindagi Sham Zawandara, which in Dari means like give second chances. of hope from people who have shared some really, just some really heartrending stories. Just, what they went through to get to Belgium. So it gives perspective, like, immediately. I'm like complaining because, I missed bus 17 by 30 seconds. Yeah, it's not the same. So I'm really thankful, and I'm honored that people share these stories with me, and I'm honored that all of you shared your natural rhythm, and I heard some voices too. You're very brave. So the second song that I'm going to sing is, let's see. Yeah, I think so, because Sarah's here, and I'm so happy that she's here. We wrote this song together, so Monday afternoons at the Refugee Center, especially this time of year, can get like kind of dismal. It's gray and rainy and cold, and so sometimes we write songs with the pigeons, because they hang out also, and pigeons have a hard life also, and I have to say that I have a really deep love for pigeons. I know, we were discussing it earlier. Not everyone has a deep love for pigeons. I've heard them likened to like rats with wings. I was on the plane one time and I saw this guy wearing this T-shirt that in all capital letters said "Kill all pigeons." And I was like, in my limited French, I was like, "Mais pourquoi?" Les pigeons, ils souffrent, la vie c'est difficile. But he was like, "Well, yeah, no, I just don't like pigeons." It's like, it's your prerogative. But just to spite you, I'm going to write a song for all the pigeons. And I think that they have a rough life, and I also think that they can be kind of a metaphor for, kind of for those elements of society, maybe people, that we, feel like we would rather hurt around. They make us feel uncomfortable. But they're survivors, and they're everywhere, so we really can't ignore them. So if you can't beat them, you should join them. So with that, this song is called the Pigeon Song, but really, take from it whatever you'd like. And if you would like to shake along or whatever,
sure,
I'd be honored. And the chorus is also not difficult and repeats like the chorus does, but even within the chorus, there's lines that repeat. So, let's see. I'll sing the chorus first, again, even though it's not a natural part of the song, so if I mess up, the disclaimer is that I've never played it this way before. But I think you'll get an idea, so just from hearing it one time, and then if you're feeling like, this is a folk music club, I should sing. You can. Because life gives second chances. If you didn't sing the first time, you can sing now. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Whoops, G. See, it's a disclaimer. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. Nice. You've got the rhythm in you. We are not big hair have names. That was awesome. Thanks so much for singing. So I've got one more song, I think, in my spot on the floor, and my floor spot. And I thought I would sing one from a very different place and a very different time in my life. It's one that I wrote with a friend who I knew when I was living in a very small community of 300 people in Alaska. And so a little different than Brussels. But still, you know, not so different. Still people, right? And in Alaska, it gets pretty dark in the wintertime. So much so that in this town where I lived, where there were no street lights, there's no actual, like, you know, there was one where they called it like the, what was it, like four corners, like, you know, where the whole world met. But there's no street light or anything because, you know, everybody knows to stop. Because there's only 20 miles of road. I'm sure what that is in kilometers, but still not a lot. And so people would walk around with like headlamps, you know, in their pockets and stuff in the winter, because you might go in the post office thinking, I'm just gonna grab my mail, and then you talk to someone for 10 minutes, you go out, and it's like the blackest night. And there are bears and moose, like more than there are people. And the moose are actually scarier than the bears. They're really big. Yeah. So you like try to hide behind a tree, but I had a friend that like the moose just like followed her around the tree. She's okay, you know. She's still like she still goes back to that town every summer, so it's like it obviously is a draw. Maybe she's like that adrenaline rush she likes. So a friend of mine was telling me about her first winter in this town called Gustavus, and you know, she said a friend of hers said, you know, it's so boring. You know, I've gone to like 500 potlucks. Like I can't do it anymore. We need to like do something to get people all together, but it'd be fun if it was a surprise. So they organized this like event anonymously that to this day, supposedly no one knows like who organized it. And it was to gather everyone together, you know, to make snow angels in what they call the best field in Gustavus, which if you live in Gustavus, you know what that field is. I'm sure if you saw a picture of it, you'd be like, I know, like I've seen some really cool fields, you know, it's just a field, but they really love that field. And so I don't know, like, is there a tradition in Europe and in the UK to make snow angels in the winter?